You're welcome to our today's class. Today we'll take a look at the course Pharmacognosy. Pharmacognosy, and we'll look at unorganized drugs. Unorganized drugs. What are unorganized drugs? Unorganized drugs are drugs that have no cellular or definite structures. They do not have cellular or definite structures. And they are from natural sources like plants and animals. And they are a mixture of chemical substances from these sources. That is, they are crude drug from natural sources. And they can be produced as a result of by physiological means, that is normal process these natural sources, these organisms undergo, that is physiologically, and they can also be produced pathologically as a result of injuries on these organisms. So physiologically they are example of unorganized drug produced physiologically, something like mucilages. Mucilages come as a physiological means, while something like gums are produced pathologically as a result of injuries on the organism. So if you hack the body of a plant now, of a tree, with an axe, within a short period of time, gums will start coming out of the body. So you inflicted an injury on the plant, you see the gum coming out. So that's what we mean by what? There are other pathological means, but this is one that is common, even to a layman. Now, so these unorganized drugs can be identified by various physical characteristics like their form, their color, solubility, and even through chemical tests. So how are unorganized drugs classified? Classification of unorganized drugs. Unorganized drugs can be classified based on their origin, at the same time based on their nature. So here we have gums, we have volatile oils, we have resins, and resin combination. So under resins and resin combination, we have gum resins, oleo resins, we have oleo gum resins. So this is what we mean by resin combinations. And we also have another class. We have the lattices, we have dried juices, and we have extracts and others. So all these are called, or they are different classes. So we have gums, we have volatile oils, we have resins and resin combinations. Under resins and resin combination, we have gum resins, we have oleo resins, we have oleo gum resins, we have lattices, we have dried juices, we have extracts, and others. So we take the one after the other. Gums, we've said one or two things about gum, that the gums is produced pathophysiologically from plants, from the body of plants, the body of the organisms in question. So we look at resins and resin combinations. So what do you understand by the term resins? Actually, resins are solid amorphous products of complex of that have complex chemical nature. So the one is that they are solid and they are what? Amorphous what? Products. And one thing with resins is that once you heat resins, they will soften and melt. If you heat them, they will soften and what? Melt. They are insoluble in water, but they dissolve in alcohol. They also dissolve in fact, they dissolve in organic solvents like alcohol, chloroform, ether. So resins, chemically, if you look at resins chemically, they are complex mixture of resin acids, resin alcohols, phenols, esters, and other chemically inert compounds like resins. So resins chemically, it's a mixture. Resins are mixture of we have acids, then resin acids, we have alcohols, just a mixture, it's not a compound, just a mixture of these acids, alcohols, phenols, esters, and other chemically inert what compound we call resins. So example of resins, colophony. Example of resins, colophony. So let's look at what it's all about. So it's actually a residue that is left after the distillation of turpentine oil from crude oleoresins of various species like Pinus, F. Pinacea. So from this species, you have turpentine oil. Turpentine oil is gotten from crude oleoresins of the species I mentioned. So if you distill turpentine oil, the residues after the distillation is what you know as what colophon. It's an example of what resins. It's an example of what resins. Okay, what does it contain? It contains resin acids, and 90% of this resin acid is made up of abietic acid, and 90% of it. And it also contains neutral inert substances. What are they used for? What do we use colophon to do? In pharmaceuticals, it's used as a ingredient in ointments. It's used as ingredient, pharmaceutical ingredient in ointments, serves as a glazing agent, and it's also a very important agent in printing inks, varnishes, and soaps. Printing inks, varnishes, and soaps. So it's a very important ingredient. So let's look at another one, oleoresins. Let's look at oleoresins. Oleoresins. So this one we talked about now, we looked at resins, and we've singled out colophony. So now let's look at oleoresins. It's a resin combination. Oleoresins. So oleoresins can exist as liquid or semi-solid. So how do we obtain oleoresins? It's obtained by incision, mostly by incision. Example of oleoresin is copaiba. So how is it obtained? The one is obtained by incision from the trunks of various species of Copaifera and even F. fabaceae. Remember that resin, specifically colophony, can be gotten from F what? F what? Okay, sorry, colophony is F. pinacea, pinus. While oleoresins, example, copaiba is from what? F. fabaceae. So what does it contain? So this contains volatile oil, diaterpenes. It also contains sequesterpene hydrocarbons. Sequesterpene hydrocarbons contains sequesterpene hydrocarbons, diaterpenes, and volatile oil. What do we use this for? It's used as urinary antiseptics. It's used as urinary antiseptics. It's also used in the treatment of the inflammation of the bladder. In treatment of the inflammations of the bladder. It's also used in treatment of sore throat. So urinary antiseptic in inflammation of the urinary bladder, and also as in treatment of sore throats. So let's look at another class. We have this one is still under resin combination. We have oleo gum resins. Oleo gum resins. Here we have volatile oil combined with gums combined with resins. Hence oleo gum resins. An example of this is myrrh. Myrrh, Myrrh, myrrh. So let's look at myrrh. Myrrh is an oleo gum resin that is obtained from Commiphora species, Commiphora species F. bossaracea, Commiphora species F. bossaracea. So where this is predominantly grown in Southeast Africa, even in Arabia. It's predominantly grown in Southeast Asia and in Arabia. Please, I want us to note this striking, note this. Myrrh, which is an oleo gum resin, is from where? Commiphora species F. bossaracea, while copaiba is from the Copaifera species F. fabaceae, and the resin colophony is from where? Pinus species F. pinacea. Let's note these names, where they came from. Very, very important. Very, very important. So let's continue. So what does this contain? Remember, it's a combination, and in that combination, greater percentage of combination is from gum. Gum has 57 to 61% of the constituents, while resin has 25 to 40%, followed by volatile oil 7 to 17%, then impurities 3 to 4%. Impurities 3 to 4%. So let's look at the uses. So what do we use myrrh to do? What do we use myrrh? So myrrh is used directly can be used directly in the mouth for sores, to treatment of sores, swelling, and even in gingivitis, that is inflammation of the gums. And also be used to take care of loose teeth, even in bad breath and chapped lips. I mean, it has a lot of application in the oral health, very important. It has a lot of application in what? Oral health. Used for mouth sores and mouth swelling, in gingivitis, inflammation of the gums, inflamed gums, loose teeth, bad breath, and chapped lips. So topically, it also can also be used for treatment of what? Hemorrhoids, even bed sores, wounds, and boils. Hemorrhoids, bed sores, wounds, and boils. Okay, in fact, it has been proven that it can also be used. It has positive impact, a positive result in treatment of gastric ulcer. So, because it has been proven that it has anti-ulcer and cytoprotective effect, so it can be used for treatment of ulcer. Okay. Now, remember where did I say that myrrh, which species is it from? Myrrh, which species is it from? say that is from where? Commiphora species. Commiphora species F. Bossariacea. F what? Bossariacea. F. Bossariacea. Please let's note this point. F. Bossariacea. Commiphora what? Commiphora species F. Bossariacea. Okay. So specifically, let's go down to a particular species known as Commiphora mormor. This one is in the Egyptian market. It is there under the name Mirazid for the treatment of schistosoma and fasciola. For treatment of infection by schistosoma and fasciola. Well, these ones are nematodes anyway. They are worms. So apart from the having anti-ulcer species, anti-ulcer activity, having using it in treatment of hemorrhoids, burst sores, wounds, boils, and even oral sore, mouth sores and swelling, gingivitis, bad breath, loose teeth, and even chapped lip. It also have effect against this worm, schistosoma and fasciola. So let's note this point. Let's note this. So it has anti-helminthic effect too. Okay. In cosmetics, myrrh. Remember, let me not go to the Bible, let me just focus on what we are doing. Remember, the gift of what? Gold, frankincense, and what? Myrrh, given to our Lord Jesus Christ. Remember those gifts when the men from the east, when the wise men from the east visited the manger. Okay, so I said that cosmetically it can be used as what? We have preparations, male preparations as what? Perfumes, even in bath collection. And it can also be used for treatment of minor burns anyway. So these are the uses of myrrh. Uses of what? Myrrh. So let's look at Resina podophili. Resina podophili, or Podophyllum resins. So this one, we are done with myrrh, we have moved to another one. This one is of the plant origin. So this one has botanical origin. In fact, it's a mixture of resins that is prepared from the dried rhizomes and roots of Podophyllum peltatum L. Podophyllum peltatum L. So it's also known as American Podophyllum resin. Also known as what? American Podophyllum resin can also be called Podophyllum imodi royale. Then it's also known as Indian Podophyllum resins. Indian Podophyllum what? Resins. So family Berberidaceae. These are the families. Remember, the families of those ones I've called before F. I said F for myrrh. Remember what I said about myrrh? Myrrh is from which species? Is from where? Commiphora. F. That is family is from where? Bossariacea. And I also said something about Copaiba from the species Copaifaria. F. That is family Fabaceae. You know, the way I pronounced it, the way I call out this thing, if you're not careful, you think that it's a different species. I was just saying F. Pinacea. This F, I mean the family it came from. F. Pinacea. Pinus, that is source of resins. Colophony. Colophony is from Pinus species. The family is what? Pinacea. Please, if you watch, I keep going forth and back, so avoid confusion, so that you will understand what I'm talking about. Because there are some I mentioned, I just said F. It sounded as if, seems I even mentioned species self. So you don't get confused. That's why I'm going back and forth, back and front. Okay, now, so we have discussed this. So we have Indian podophyllum, we have American what? Podophyllum. That's the point I'm trying to make. All this I'm saying, we have Indian podophyllum, we have American podophyllum. Okay. So American podophyllum is Podophyllum pertatum, from Podophyllum pertatum, while that of India is Podophyllum emodi. Podophyllum emodi. So this whole thing, they come from the family F. Berberidaceae, sorry. So what do they contain? American podophyllum contains podophylltoxins, lignan. Please note that point, lignan. Podophyllum toxins, lignan 20%, then beta pertatin 10%, and alpha pertatin 5%. So lignan podophylltoxin, lignan 20%, beta pertatin 10%, alpha pertatin 5%. Then Indian podophyllum contains podophylltoxins up to 40%. They do not have pertatin or beta pertatin or alpha pertatin. So note the striking difference between American podophyllum and Indian podophyllum. So having known the content of this now, so what you want to use it for is you determine the one you go for. If your primary purpose is, if what you want to achieve is to make use of lignan, that lignan is your target. That is podophylltoxin, basically is your target. Because there in Indian podophyllum is up to 40%. Then go for what? Indian podophyllum. That is, you have no business with beta pertatin or alpha pertatin. But if what you want to achieve, your target is you want the three of these constituents needed, then go for American podophyllum. What did I say before now? Okay, let me repeat myself. I said that if your target is that you want to, the target is lignan, that's your target. Because it has up to 40%, that is podophylltoxins, it has up to 40% in Indian podophyllum, then go for Indian podophyllum. But if what you want to prepare or use it for, you need the beta pertatin or alpha pertatin, which are 10% and 5% respectively, while podophylltoxin is 20%. In American podophyllum, if you need all these constituents present in what you want to do, then go for American what? Podophyllum. That's the point I'm trying to make. So let's pick each of these constituents. Podophylltoxin. So this is a natural product. It's a natural product, of course, and before it can be an unorganized drug, it should be a natural product. A very important point I want to make here is a precursor. It's a precursor, and it's used for several therapeutic agents. So it's a precursor for several therapeutic agents. We have anti-cancer drugs. So anti-cancer drug is from this podophylltoxin. Wow. So I want you to understand that. That is from what? Where? Podophylltoxin, anti-cancer drugs. So what are these anti-cancer drugs that can be gotten from podophylltoxin? We have etoposide, teniposide, and etoposide phosphates. Etoposide that is the base drug, teniposide and the etoposide phosphate, the salt form of what? Etoposide. So this can be gotten from where? From podophytotoxins. So why is used in the treatment of as anti-cancer? Because it has what? Cytotoxic effect. It has cytotoxic what? Effect. It has cytotoxic effect. So you see drugs, there are some drugs in our shelf, in our pharmacy shelf. You see something like Podowat. It's a brand name, Podowat. So Podowat contains podophyllin resins, contains benzoin and aloes and allium. So it's a solution of podophyllin resin, benzoin and what? Aloes. So have you now seen why? Why you use it in what? Treatment of what? What treatment? What removal. So you use what? Podophyllin what? Podophyllin resins, because it has cytotoxic effect. So how does it do that? It prevents growth of wat tissue. Very important. So this podophyllin resin prevent what? Prevent growth of the what? Wat tissue. It's not what you just use anyhow anyway. There should be, it should be under medical supervision because of the toxicity. Now, we are done with resins. Let's look at dried juices. Let's look at dried juices. Let's look at dried juices. Oh, our time has elapsed too. Okay, we'll stop here for today. Please, if you have any question, feel free to drop your question on the chat me up for your question, or drop your question on the comment section. All right, thank you very much for your attention. See you next time. God bless you.